What's going on, guys? CrustyKs here from the Go Boys Network, coming to you to preview this insane Saturday college basketball slate. We got 5 games we're going to talk about here. Let's jump right into it. The first one, probably one of the best ones, one of the earliest ones in the slate, Alabama traveling to Kentucky. This total staying at a whopping 178.5. Spread's basically a pick 'em right now. Opened, I believe, Kentucky -3, if I'm not mistaken. So a little bit of money coming in Alabama. A lot of people are probably looking for the bounce back here. I have a hard time fading Kentucky at Rupp Arena, so I won't be doing that. I will be actually attacking this total, a very rare total for me here, but over 178.5, I'm going to take it. It's a sky high total. It could be the highest total of the college basketball season, if not second highest total. And you get Alabama off a really poor shooting performance, their worst one of the season, and Kentucky coming off one that it wasn't their worst of the season, but it wasn't a good one. So you get 2 teams here who love to run the floor, love to shoot the three, and I think we see points. Obviously, biggest concern here would be like long lulls, but man, when you get teams who play as fast as these 2 teams do, I think both teams get in the 90s. Wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the teams break 100, truthfully. Over 178.5 here for the game total. I think this thing is absolutely soaring over. It'll be a great game to watch, a great game for props if you have those available to you. I don't think you can go wrong with really anybody, truthfully. Even like I like Owe a lot from Kentucky. He's the guy I like to back. He's just super consistent. And then if you're looking at props for Alabama, I'm not a big Mark Sears guy personally. I mean, obviously in a game like this, I'm sure he's going to command a ton of the volume. But if you want to go that route, I guess you could. He probably does cash. But I like Grant Nelson. I like his rebounds. He's one of those guys who's going to be down there doing the dirty work. You figure Cliff's going to have to be on Amari Williams, so should open up some boards for Grant Nelson. I think his rebounds are probably in play here. Moving on, though, like I said, massive slate. The next one we will talk about, this is probably one that not a lot of people are going to want to talk about, but I like it. It's kind of nasty. But Cincinnati, back at home, taking on Arizona State, laying 9.5 points. This is a team who finally picked up the first conference win last week against Colorado, or not last week, a few days ago against Colorado. And now they're back at home, laying 10 points against Arizona State. Arizona State's a darling team for a lot of people. They looked really good against Gonzaga early in the year. Got absolutely rolled by Kansas in the second half of that game. They've lost 3 straight. They're coming to this one, and they're catching an extremely fat spread here. Everybody's healthy. Originally, I thought that their freshman was going to be out, which made the line make a little more sense to me. But seeing this -9.5, man, this is a monster number. And we dive into the matchup. It does make a little bit of sense. Cincinnati, one of the best teams in the country defending the 3, the best team in this conference defending the 3. They don't allow a lot of attempts. I believe like 300 something. I mean, they're almost the best team in terms of 3-point attempts per game. And then in terms of shooting percentage from 3, they're holding opponents to under 27%. That's the best in the country. So this defense is every bit of elite. And obviously Arizona State, a team that likes to rip threes. They're going to have to find offense elsewhere. And I'm not so sure they're going to be able to find it here against Cincinnati. Cincinnati will obviously slow this game down too. Arizona State's team likes to play in transition a bit. You look at this total at 133.5, and in my opinion, that's pretty telling along with this big spread. This is a Cincinnati total for sure. And looking at that, I think Arizona State really struggles in this spot. Like I said, they're going to have to play a half-court game, which they don't want to do. And I think Cincinnati has their way here. So give me Cincinnati -9.5. Won't be a popular play, but I think it's one that's a winner. So moving on through here, we got Purdue traveling to Oregon. Oregon -2.5 right now on the spread. For me here, this is one, I'm not super high in Oregon. I do think Purdue's playing some of their best basketball. They've covered like, I don't know, 1 million games in a row. I think here on the road, Oregon takes this one. I like them on the money line. It's currently a -135. I'd play it's like -140. I mean, honestly, if you don't want to lay the kind of that juice, I think the -2.5 is probably okay too. I just like this spot for Oregon. I think, Purdue finally gets a loss. It's been a while. I think they haven't lost. I can tell you guys for sure. But it's been probably almost 2 weeks, I think. Let me pull it up here for you guys so I'm not giving you bad info. But, I mean, this Purdue team's rolling. Pretty much ever since conference play started, their defense has looked really good. I'm not going to take that away from them. But in this particular spot, I think Oregon has the guys to beat them. I think Oregon on their home floor, it's just a tough team to play. Here, let's look. So, yeah, their last loss came against Auburn December 21st. So it's been 3 weeks It's been a long time. And I believe they've covered, I think let's see here. Yeah, they've covered every spread since then. So this is a spot for me where I see Oregon. And Oregon, I mean, they're rolling a bit too as of late, don't get me wrong. But they're coming off a couple close victories, 2-point win over Ohio State, 1-point victory over Penn State. This is a team, like I said, long-term I'm not super high on. But you look at the way that they defend, you look at what they can do defensively. And I really do think that they have the matchup to give Purdue's guards some issues. If you've watched Purdue in the past, their biggest issue, like Braden Smith's biggest issue, is these guards who can pressure the ball. So like TJ Bamba, he's a guy who's physical at when the opponents come into the offense under the court. So I like TJ Bamba to kind of create some chaos here. Shellstad, obviously, he's a bucket, and he's another guy who's a plus defender. I mean, I wouldn't say he's elite by any means, but a guy who can kind of wreak some havoc and make Braden Smith uncomfortable. Like I said, I'm probably in the minority here, but I think Oregon wins this game. So Oregon on the money line, -135. Like I said, you don't want to lay the juice. I think the -2.5 is definitely in play as well. This one's kind of nasty, and this one is definitely not a popular one. Iowa State traveling to West Virginia. West Virginia only a 6.5-point dog here at home, likely with Tucker DeVries out. This line to me is glaringly short. Obviously, Iowa State, probably one of the best teams in the country. And not probably, they are. I mean, they're number 2 in the country. They just beat Kansas handily. Now they go on the road. And they've only lost, I believe, 1 game this season. I don't necessarily think they lose this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game. But I will be on West Virginia plus 6.5. It is a disgusting play. Like I said, Tucker DeVries probably out. So why is this only 6.5? I will pay to find out. This is one of those ones where you can look like a total bozo if it doesn't come through. But for me, I like these spots. These are spots that I found success in. I'm sure other people who bet college basketball regularly have found success in similar spots. Teams off big wins, you fade them. When you see these like glaringly short spreads, I mean, like I said, it's not a comfortable play. It's not a play that I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch West Virginia against Iowa State, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I will not have this game on. I'm gonna check the score at the end and hope that it worked out. But like speaking on these spots, I mean, I referenced it before when I think it was Dayton. Dayton was in a spot where they coming off a big win where they beat Marquette, and they played UNLV with a really oddly short line, and everybody thought like Dayton rolls, and I believe UNLV covered it absolutely sweat free. So this is kind of that same spot, same circumstance here. You get Iowa State off a massive win over Kansas. Heading on the road, obviously it's a team that hasn't lost in a long time. They have the nation's longest win streak, I believe, right now. And they're catching a short line against West Virginia at home. And if you know anything about Morgantown, things get a little weird. So they definitely get weird. It's a weird environment to play in. It's a tough environment to play in. And this West Virginia defense, sneakily, very good. They absolutely strapped Kansas when they played. Obviously, Iowa State's a different animal. But West Virginia coming off a game where they just played Houston. What better team to get ready for Iowa State than playing Houston? So it's another team, a pressure system, gonna see a lot of ball pressure, and they've already seen it once. Now you're gonna see it again. I think they'll be more prepared this time. Houston kind of caught them off guard, in my opinion. So give me West Virginia plus 6.5. The last one we are going to talk about, Texas A&M taking on LSU. Texas A&M laying 9.5 points here. I will be on Texas A&M minus 9.5. Wade Taylor expected to be back. I will buy a little bit of good news when it is their star player. You look at this matchup here, obviously Texas A&M, the biggest thing for them is offensive rebounding. LSU struggled on the glass this season. They're not a very good team, and I think we see that here. Texas A&M has lost, back-to-back games. So we were on Alabama against them 2 games ago, and they just lost to Kentucky. Now they head home to take on LSU, which, like I said, LSU, in my opinion, is a bad team. LSU coming off a nice win over Arkansas. And in this spot, I just think, in terms of second chance points, in terms of what A&M wants to do, they're going to be able to do just that against LSU. And if you allow A&M to play their game, which they should be able to here, because this is a, LSU team who defensively ranks 300th in opponent offensive rebounds allowed. They're in for a very long day here. So Texas A&M minus 9.5. I would imagine, with the Wade Taylor news that he's going to be in, this probably gets steamed a bit. That is literally just came out as I'm recording this. So, I mean, I was going to be on the minus 9.5 even without Wade Taylor. With him being in, I love it even more. I'd play this probably to like -12 if it gets there. I'm pretty comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game by 20 plus. There's the 5 games we want to talk about though. Honorable mention, I'm not going to talk about too much because I want to keep this video a decent amount of time. But my free play for Twitter will be Mississippi State -4.5. I'd play it all the way to -6. Really good bounce back spot in my opinion. Have to take it. It's a spot that I've had circled, pretty much since they lost back-to-back games, and it's just one of those spots that I have to play against Ole Miss, who just beat Alabama outright. I think Mississippi State absolutely rolls in this spot. As always, though, you guys can get all of my official plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, don't worry, Hunter Gambler. Thank you, guys.